Hey, I'm Dan, and this is Dan's Planes. Okay, Princess, you gonna introduce this video? I thought so. Good girl. Alright, so we're back to the Mustang here. And I don't know how much of it I'm gonna work on because I'm really burned out working on this particular model. Having to constantly fix the gear area. And also a couple wing screw-ups that I had. So I'm kind of getting over this model, but I've been putting it off and been moving into my house, so it's taken a while. But back to it now. So what did I do? I've already had everything removed in my previous videos. So now I have to make a rib for here that is going to be used only to put as a lip for the sheeting to go onto. So I used some thin cardstock and I held it up against here, traced around it with a pencil. Then I went around the edge with a pencil and marked what I thought was a 1/16 inch to cut that off because that's where the actual sheeting is going to go. Then I outlined a hole that I'm going to cut once I cut it. These I'm going to make out of balsa, and I'm cutting that hole out of the center all to save weight because all they're doing is being a support for the sheeting. So I've done that for this one, and I've done that for this one. So cut those out in balsa and glue them on, and I've got to make the next 3 ribs, which I've talked to folks and they're just, I don't know if there's a real good way to do it. I bought a kit that I thought was going to help me so I could trace out parts that I need while I have this ARF. But when I looked at the ribs, they were different sizes by like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. So I don't know how or why that is the case. But I wasn't able to just easily trace them. So I'm going to have to basically use this rib and try to manually shrink it down here and use my bar sander to make sure that everything is flush. So there's going to be a lot of just eyeballing and working with a sander to get it where it needs to be. But these ribs are also plywood, so a little tougher than balsa to sand. That's it so far. I'll keep you posted. I've got the other ribs put in here to be able to have something for the sheeting to apply to. So both of those are in there now. So now I'm working on the inside ribs, which are much more of a challenge. So first thing I'm doing is measuring how far in the wood goes, which I found was a touch over 3/8 of an inch. So I did all my markings of where I need to cut. So now I'm going to cut this away, be able to slide this in here. The bottom will align with the bottom. The top will be much too long, so I'll cut that away. What I'm probably going to do is start with this template that I used for this rib and probably put that on here in the center and start with it, but then go through and again freehand making it smaller. Not sure how much smaller to make it. That's the question, because I've tried holding up the wood here and then having something stiff go along here and trace along it, and I get different readings when I'm trying that. I don't know what I'm doing, but it probably has to do with this curve here. Oh, that's cracked. Good. Good to know. So I don't know what I'm going to do for this, but I've got to freehand it somehow. And once I do this one, then that'll be how I do the other two, I guess. One step at a time. Here's the first rib replacement. So I traced this template for this guy using the cardboard or the cardstock, and I measured how much went into here, cut that out. I put in some triangle stock on this side, some triangle stock on that side. First, I had to take off about 1/16 of an inch all across the top. The bottom I lined up okay with where it's flat here, which is, this is where the sheeting goes on top. So I'm flat to that now. Now, I may have to trim this backwards a little bit. May have to trim off a little bit. But we'll find out when I get the other ribs put in and I test fit the rounded stock, which I need to see if I have any of that, or if I have some square that I can sand. So I better go check that out. But first rib is in there, and now I can use a flat bar sander to see if I'm lined up with this this part that's the bottom of where the sheeting is. Okay, onward and upward. Okay, so for this rib, I've done all my measuring to get it to fit into the spars like it should. Then I've taken this triangle, which is pretty stiff, and I put it across here, and I used the tip of it to score into this balsa. I don't know if you can see this score line just a little bit here. Now, the problem is part of the triangle is sitting up high on the sheeting, and then part of it is sitting lower on this rib. So what I'm going to do is cut this about 1/16 of an inch too large, and then I'll sand it to shape. I've learned I don't have any round stock, so I'm going to have to use this and shape it down. I already used this to go here and lined up to there to find out where my rib needed to be, and I went ahead and cut that off. If I'm wrong, I can always do triangle stock to fix it, but hopefully it's going to be right. So I'm just making this up as I go along. If you guys know of a better way, I mean, one thought I had was after I made this template, I could scan it and then try to decrease the size in Microsoft Paint. But I felt like I didn't know what size I was really going to need, so I'd end up just printing a whole bunch of stuff and throwing it away. So I didn't feel like that was the way to go. So one down, two more to go. All right, got all the ribs made. So now it's a matter of doing the final shaping. So one way I will do it is to, okay, I guess I don't have it out. Take my sanding bar, and I can put my sanding bar across it and bring it down across here like this and find where I've got low or high spots. So I'll do that. I think I cut too much of this off, just probably about 1/8 of an inch. And that's Goliath. This is what he does at 4 o'clock in the morning. He tries to unlock my door and go out. You gotta love him, or otherwise you'd kill him. All right, so that's it for now. Again, I've been kind of burned out on this, so I don't know when I'm going to pick it up again, but it does feel good to have some progress on it, so maybe I can get down to the final shaping and at least get this section done before I have to flip it over and do some fixing on that side, including one of the retract mounts. So that's always fun, making sure that you get that in as straight as possible, which I didn't do on the last time I fixed my previous wing. So lessons learned. That's all for now. So stay tuned, and if you would, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you feel you really like the content, you're welcome to donate to Patreon, listed in the description. Either way is fine. I really wish you the best of blue skies and good speed.